Hello, boys and girls, viewers of all genders and ages and creeds. This is Trevy the Great here with my very first War Machine battle report. This is very exciting. It's not my first game of War Machine. It's actually my fourth game of War Machine that I've played. I played some awesome games a couple days ago, but unfortunately I forgot my camera, so we'll have to settle for this one. This game is pretty much just me and my buddy John, who's been in a couple battle reports before this, just sort of playing around. Unfortunately, John just bought his army and bought it secondhand, and it wasn't the greatest army ever, and he's trying to expand it, but his models are still coming in the mail. So right now he's got all warjacks, which and if anyone who is out there who plays War Machine knows is not the greatest setup for an army, although it does look really cool. I mean, it is a game called War Machine, so it should have a lot of machines of war in it, because they're awesome, and giant robots. Yeah! So, I'm moving into War Machine because I like the game in that it gives you a lot of it challenges the players tactically, and you need to write effective lists and be able to use them effectively and be able to set up your turns and moves effectively. And which is something that I think a lot of games, especially Games Workshop games, are lacking. I did post on my blog a while ago a post that sort of roasted Warhammer Fantasy for the 8th edition for what it is. I do like Warhammer Fantasy. It's a fun game. It's not a challenging game in any respect, and it's basically come down to who can field the units that do the most damage. So I'm sort of moving away from fantasy. That by no means I'm not going to play any games. I'm still going to do battle reports, so you guys can look forward to those. My Beastmen army is almost done, so I'd like to do some battle reports with them, as well as my Lizardmen army that are going to come back out and do some awesome battle reports. But for now, I'm playing some War Machine, so let's get stuck in. My army is a Cryx Deneghra army. I love Deneghra. She is so good at just debuffing the enemy. That's her biggest strength. She has a lot of upkeep spells that will debuff enemy units. She has a lot of her feat is enormous debuff for like radius that works for not only my turn but also my opponent's turn, so I can move my guys in and do a lot of damage and then not really suffer a very effective counterattack. So I like her because she can really make my army, which while it's good, Cryx units are fast and hard to hit, but they're not survivable and they don't have a lot of damage output, so it really boosts that army, makes it a lot better. So that's why I like Deneghra. My opponent has a Kreoss force. Like I said, it's not a very competitive force by any stretch of the imagination. And if you're going to watch this battle report and look for tactical insight and things like that, you're not really going to find it. This is really just up here because I haven't posted one in a while, and I wanted to show you guys what I've been doing. So my opponent in his list has two, I believe they're called Revengers. They are light Menoth warjacks with arc nodes and spears, so they have reach and all that good stuff. He's got the Avatar of Menoth, which is almost an auto-include in Menoth armies just because he's so good at just killing things and not really requiring focus to do it. And then he's got one heavy warjack. I don't remember what it's called, sorry guys, but it has a big old mace and a fist with which to punch the enemy. My army is pretty straightforward. I have two little Death Rippers. They just hang out to be arc nodes. I don't really like to get them in combat because I don't really think Death Rippers really what are going to do damage. The Bane Thralls in my army are really there to put down the hurt. Sorry guys if the audio gets a little muddy here. It's actually raining outside, so might be a little mucky. But like I said, I have a big unit of Bane Thralls. I have 6 Bane Thralls with the unit attachment, so a total of 8. And they're hanging out with Bane Lord Tartarus, who can curse enemy models, give my Bane Thralls that extra boost they need. Well, not that they need, because they're probably going to kill it anyway, but he boosts them pretty well. And although he's not very good against warjacks, he's still makes the unit better. And then I have a Scarlock, who's going to hang out with Deneghra, cast some of my awesome upkeep spells for no cost. And then I have a Slayer, and the Slayer is going to be in there basically just to beat face on some of those lighter warjacks. Slayer's a pretty cheap heavy warjack. He's not really good at any one thing in particular. He can deal a lot of damage, but not as much as some of the heavier like Hedoran warjacks and other really big scary ones. But he is cheap, so he's an easy include in my army, and he's there basically just to eat up points, and because I love the model. He looks so cool. Unfortunately, he's not finished painted yet, but it's looking cool either way. So this is the deployment, pretty straightforward. We're just playing a caster kill right now because neither of us are really experienced enough to start getting into scenarios. So there it is, not much else to say about that, and let's go on to how the game goes. Here's an awesome pick of my Bane Thralls. This is turn 2. As you can see, they're actually not the actual Bane Thrall models because, well, I think Privateer Press makes awesome games and awesome giant robots. I think the infantry and things in their armies look pretty silly, so I use a lot of proxies. You can see the Banelord Tartarus up there. On the right is actually the old Archaon on foot model that was sold at Games Day, so he's actually probably worth quite a bit more than the Tartarus model, but he looks really cool. And my Bane Thralls are modified Vampire Count's Graveguard with some, they're a little bit taller. They've had some cloak added to them with green stuff, so they look more the part, and they fit in a little bit better. But the aesthetic of the two models is very similar, so nobody really complains about it. This is turn 2. I took another picture of the whole battlefield, but it turned out really fuzzy, which was sad. So here's what's going on. My Bane Thralls have Ghost Walk cast on them, so they become ghostly, and they can move right up through that terrain without penalty. My 2 Death Rippers have moved up the sides on the right and left flanks. You can't see them in the picture right now, but they're going to be there to cast some of my offensive spells like Scourge, which is an AoE that knocks the enemy down, so I can move those Death Rippers up and so that the template won't deviate, and then just automatically knock them down. And then I can move my Bane Thralls or my Slayer in to do a lot of damage. Really damage. I can do really damage. Got to get my mouth back today. Other than that, not much has gone on. My opponent's just moved up pretty straightforward, and we'll see how we go at the end of turn 2. So unwisely, my opponent decided to move the Avatar up in turn 2. I think he expected that forest to slow my guys down because he forgot about Ghost Walk, but he did move into charge range, and I was able to charge in with Tartarus, who did a little bit of damage to the Avatar, and then he cursed it so that the Bane Thralls got extra charge range against it, and they were able to charge in. I got 4 into combat range, and eventually just wrecked the Avatar right off the bat there. My opponent did move up with one of his Revengers on the left flank. You can't see it in the picture right there, but I was able to cast Scourge with that one Death Ripper that was over there, hit the model, knocked it down, and then charged my Slayer in and just wrecked it right there. So, actually, I don't know if I wrecked it. I think I might have done significant damage, pretty much disabled it, but that's all that's going on over there. So, looking pretty bad for my opponent right now. Kreoss is right behind that. Just on the top of the picture there, you can't really see him. So I have a really clear shot to Kreoss. So this game could go pretty short if I can just charge in with those Bane Thralls and kill him right off the bat. So that's actually what does end up happening. Kreoss activated in his turn 3, and he popped his feet. His feet knocks everyone down, obviously, who can be knocked down within his control range. However, the Bane Thralls have an ability where they immediately stand up in the beginning of their maintenance phase, so that they don't really get bogged down by being knocked down. My opponent was able to charge in with his Heavy Warjacket, take down Tartarus, who was knocked down because he doesn't have that ability. But the Bane Thralls were pretty much unaffected. So I was able to put a focus onto my Death Ripper to stand him up and just move him up within range of Kreoss, and then cast some debuffs through him. And then I charged in with the Bane Thralls, got 4 into contact with Kreoss, and just assassinated him right there. Wa-ching! Killed Kreoss like a boss. So, like I said, not the most tactically brilliant round ever, but I'm having a lot of fun with this game. And I have some more battle reports I'm going to post pretty soon. I just wanted to give you guys a little flavor of what I've been doing lately, show you some pictures of my awesome Cryx army, and show them totally beating the face of some Catholic Church members. I mean Menoth disciples. So, there it is. I hope you all have a great day and you enjoy this video, and I will have some other videos up for you pretty soon, so stay tuned for that.